Welcome to the It Matters podcast. I'm your host, Walter Perez, and let's dive in as we help you grow your mindset and elevate your leadership. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the It Matters podcast. I am super excited today because this has been a dream that has been brewing for a long time. And I'm excited to finally kick off this project and be able to bring value, bring some mindset. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about personal growth. And what's exciting about it is that I'm going to have guests on this show. And we're also going to have opportunities where you and I are going to chat, and I'm going to bring some topics. I'm going to add value to you. And I hope that this makes you a better leader in whatever arena you are living in and you're working in. And so, but today's episode, being our first episode, is a unique one. And as you can see, I have a guest with me today, and it's actually my co-host for today, and her name is Alexandra Perez. And just to be clear, she is my wife, and we're excited to do a little bit of a different episode. And the idea here is that she's going to interview me so I can give you a little bit of the heart, the passion, the purpose behind this podcast as we launch into 2024 and the great things we have in store for you. So, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for letting me co-host your very first episode. I'm very excited for you to start your podcast. And I just know how much you value people and you value leadership and you just value helping others. And so I'm excited for you to launch it. And I'm very proud to be your wife.
Awesome. Well, it is a treat to have you on this first episode. And of course, you know me better than anybody else. And who could have done this better than you to just have a conversation with me? Let's, ask him some questions. But before we get going, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? You're married to me. We have children. And how many children do we have, Alex?
We have 5 children.
We have 5 children. That's right.
Yeah, we have 2 boys and 3 girls from ages almost 9 to 1.
Yes. And anybody out there listening who's a parent, you know that we probably have a bit of a busy household, but we have a blessed household, and we are excited that we get to do this journey together and parent these amazing kids. And but Alex, that's not the only thing you do. You have a passion too for a couple of different things in your life, and I just want to make sure people get to know you a little bit really quick here. You are a huge advocate. You advocate for an organization that is very dear to your life. You want to tell us a little bit about that really quick?
Yeah, so our second son, who is almost 7, he has a rare liver disease, of course, as you know, and it's called PFIC. And so kind of out of that, I have started advocating for kids with rare diseases, and I created a company called Chosen and Created, where I create different advocacy and rare disease-based items like T-shirts and mugs and that type of thing. And my heart is just so other advocates can feel like they have something that represents what they stand for. So it's been a huge passion of mine. I just really love that.
That's awesome. And I know you're doing a great job at it. And there's great things in store for Chosen and Created and everything else that you're doing. And the volunteering that you do for the PFIC network. So I'm so excited for what's happening in there. And then we come into this arena, and you also contribute and help out. And you help me run the Leader Co., which is our leadership company that we have, where we're here to help people lead well. And we do different events, we do different offerings, and this podcast is going to be the other thing that is going to be presented in the Leader Code to help and add value to all of you out there. And so, but why don't we just get started? Why don't you take over and let's have a chat.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think an appropriate place to begin is, can you explain to us why it matters? Like, why did you pick the name It Matters, and what does that mean for you?
Why it matters.
Mhm.
All right, guys. So this is it. The idea behind it matters is that a lot of the time we will go through life doing things with this mentality, with this idea that things don't matter, that these little things don't matter, and sometimes the big things don't matter. And the reality is that it matters. And so the the heart behind this podcast initially started with this idea is that I want to help you maximize your potential. I think all of you have been given this potential in your life. And first of all, we need to identify it, then we need to tap into it, but then we need to maximize it. And in order to maximize your potential, you need to identify different things in your life that are either going to help you and propel you forward, or these other things that are maybe holding you back. And so it matters. um, is coming together with this idea to present to you different topics, different stories, different people that have done things, and we're going to hear from them what they did, what they didn't do, and just how it affected them. All these things that mattered that helped them lead better.
Awesome. That sounds like it's going to be really great. And I do have a bit of a behind the scenes look. I know some upcoming guests, and they will add a lot of value to this community. So it's going to be really exciting. Um, and who would you say that this podcast is for? Like, who should listen to it?
Mm. So one of the things you've noticed about this podcast is I'm going with three ideas, three topics. It's mindset, leadership, and personal growth. So, who does that include? It includes everybody. And I know some of you, really, is it going to help me if I run a business? Is it really going to help me if I'm a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad? If I run a small business, or whatever you do, is it really going to help you? Here's the answer: yes. Because if you're going to want to do something that is of value to you, and you want to add value to other people, if you want to maximize your potential, all these things are going to matter on how you perceive it, how you use it, how it applies to you. Mindset's going to be a big deal. I think mindset is one of those things that will either propel you or doesn't. You can be very negative. You have a negative mindset, it's going to give you a negative life. If you have a positive mindset, it will give you a positive life. I assure you of that. Leadership. This is the thing, okay? I don't think leaders are born. Leaders are created. I think you just need to tap into your leadership. You need to understand your skill set, your talents, your strengths. Listen to me when I say this. All of you are leaders. You just have to tap into it and grow from there. And then personal growth. I think we all who have careers or businesses, we like to think about professional development. But I got to tell you, you can have professional development without having personal growth, without having leadership growth. And so I want to help you understand these different little things that you can do in your life that will tap into the potential that you have, but also, which I'm passionate about, is to help you add value to others. And this is what I'll say too. If I'm a strong believer that whatever project, whatever business, whatever thing that you do will never outgrow the level of your leadership. It'll never outgrow the level of your leadership. If you don't grow, you will be the ceiling to that project, to that thing that you want to do. And I want to help you understand that so you don't limit yourself.
That's really great. And that's one thing that I know to be true about you 100% in your life is that you're always growing and always learning new things. And so I don't think you'll ever cap your what you can do because you're always growing. So just wanted
Mm,
to kind of point that out for people to know about you.
mm.
Um, and I know you're very passionate about leadership. And I'm just curious, where do you think that comes from? Like, what experiences in your life led you to just be passionate about that and realize how important it is?
Well, Alex, I think that has come out. That passion for leadership is something that's been brewing for a long time, and I think I could even think about back into my teenage years, even maybe even younger, when I first had the desire to start a business, the desire to be an entrepreneur, and do these little side hustles, whether that was raking leaves in my neighborhood or shoveling snow. I always wanted to do something that propelled me forward, but uh, I quickly understood that adding value to others, when you make others better, man, the whole world gets better. That I had the potential to add value to others, and that was through many different arenas. I used to wrestle in junior high school. I was the captain of the team. I remember setting up events to DJ for a fundraiser for the band at school. There were just these different things that I saw, and when I got out of school and into the job world, into the working world, I started realizing that there was a lot of people that were in leadership positions, but actually
Mhm.
didn't have much of a leadership development to them. Um, I quickly realized that there's a lot of people that wanted to be in charge, but didn't have the people skills on how to do that. I've realized that there's been projects and organizations and businesses that haven't done well because it hasn't been led well. And so my passion just continued to grow and grow and grow. And unfortunately, I was I worked under a lot of bad leadership. And it just, maybe they just didn't have the tools, they didn't have the resources, or even maybe they just didn't care to improve. And so I went on a mission to say, no, I think that our world deserves better leaders, and we need to learn how to lead. Not only that, we need to lead well, and that's kind of how the birth of the leadercal came about.
Mhm.
Because as many of you know, the slogan, the mantra that we want to go with the leadercal is, we want to help you lead well. It's not just good enough to just lead, because leadership can be bad or good. So we want to make sure we bring your attention to what it looks like to lead well. And um, and so, yeah, the that vision has continued to just fire me up, because I think there's a great need in our culture today. And this is what I got to say, Alex. Okay, just because you're a boss doesn't mean you're a leader. Just because you're in charge doesn't mean you're a leader.
Yeah.
Just because you have the position, it doesn't mean you are a leader. And so I'm just very passionate to bring awareness to that, because I think all of you have the potential to be great leaders, and I think the people that you lead deserve better, and you deserve better. I think you will run better organizations. You will be energized. You'll be at peace, and you'll do greater things when you lead well.
So, with that being said, that it's not the position that makes you a leader, what do you think it is that makes someone a leader?
I think what makes people a great leader, what actually makes somebody a leader, is how they think. If they're are they value driven? Are they people driven? A lot of the times, the reason leadership doesn't actually work out in organization is because we're so focused on the product. We're so focused on the project. We're focused on the end result, which is the finances, the money. But let me say this: is that important? Of course, it's important, but it's actually not more important than people. And so when
Mhm.
you put people first, it's interesting. It's funny enough how, when you put people first, that then ripples into creating better company culture, creating better projects, creating better products, because people then get empowered. you end up delegating leadership, not just delegating uh, projects or work. You actually make better people out of it, and they actually will run organizations and projects and products and all that better than you could ever imagine. And here's the other kicker: you end up multiplying yourself. So leaders end up multiplying themselves, and that's a key thing, because if you want to do anything great in life, you're going to have to do it in a team. A solo leader will only go so far, and I think that's a key point to understanding that leadership is about people. Leadership then has integrity, character, different attributes attached to it that will help you serve people better.
That's really good. So I know that a lot of people use the verbiage leadership and management, um, that they think they mean the exact same thing.
Hmm.
So I know that you're very passionate about this topic specifically. So can you explain to us the difference between leadership and management?
What a good question. You are right. I am very passionate about this, and I've already kind of alluded to it a little bit in the last question I answered. But here, let's go into it a little bit deeper. Management, uh, more times than not, always entails the product. It's all about organizing things. It's about executing the product well, and it's always putting, the best way that I can say it is always putting the product before the people, the it before the people. And it, the thing is that it can create a culture where people are not valued, where people are not heard, where people are not cared for. And so there's a big difference between managing and leading. Um, you want to manage people? I don't think people should be managed. You want to manage people, though, you will never get the best out of them. You got to remember that when you bring people onto your team, you're doing it because you believe that they're going to add value to the overall vision and mission of what you're working on. So then in that case, you got to lead them. You got to invest in them. You got to add value to them so that they can grow, because as human beings, we are meant to grow and not stay stagnant, or worse, move the other way and start decaying away and dying. We're supposed to actually continue to grow. And if you as a leader, and whatever you do, whether that's people that are working with you directly or even anybody that you come in contact, let's say you run a business, even the customers you come in contact, if you have this I add value to people mentality, it will change your world. And leadership, it's about serving other people, it's about putting people first, it's about valuing people. And if you put that into practice and you actually understand that and do it, I assure you, I assure you, your world will change, because it's um it's when people are valued, you're gonna see the best out of them.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that. So we've talked kind of a lot about leadership, a little bit about personal growth, but I'm curious to know why you chose mindset to be the other main theme of your new podcast.
Mindset. This is the thing. Many of you uh, live in your minds, and the
Mhm.
question is it a negative or is it a positive arena for you? And the
Mm.
reality is that if you're going to do anything great, if you want um, to have a better life, if you want to speak better things, you want to do greater things, it's really going to start in your mind. And then there is one step back that we can go about mindset is input. But everything is, it's really controlled in the mind on how you're going to pursue whatever dream or vision that you have. And so mindset allows us to dream. Mindset allows us to have vision. And 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 when you have a proper vision, you end up seeking that association that is going to line up with your values. You're going to seek those resources, like you're going to read some great books, you're going to listen to some great audio, you're going to you're going to do things that will not only propel you, but you'll actually be that person that adds value to others. You'll actually be that person that doesn't just want to suck life out of people, but actually brings a value to them. And I think that's very important, but it starts in the mindset. It starts in who you think you are. You think you're worthy. Part of my mindset, I have a faith. That's important to me. That's important to me on how I think about myself, and that I believe that I was created on purpose for a purpose. Now, if you don't believe that, well, what do you live for? What do you value in life? Do you value adding value to others? Do you value doing your best? And it starts by how you begin your day, how you begin your life up here.
Yeah.
And so that's very important. I talk about vision. One of my favorite uh, um, quotes about vision is it's a picture of the future that creates passion. But
Mm,
that picture starts up in the mind. And I think that's why this podcast is existing today, because it started as a picture many years ago. And maybe maybe it took a little longer to actually get going, but you know what? The time is now, and we're here today,
yeah,
and we reflect, we learn, we grow now, and now let's move forward.
that's really good. Um, so, what are you most excited for that's coming up in this next year, and kind of what also are you excited for this podcast specifically?
I'm excited in a future podcast here. I'm going to be chatting about something that I do with the one word commitment, and
Mm,
I'm excited um, for this new arena in our company and in this podcast. And I want to practice this year excellence, because I think that I can do things, but I want to do them well. And if I can do them well, I know that I'll be able to impact more of you. You'll be able to get the better product. You'll be able to get the best guest. You'll be able to get the best uh, information, wisdom to help you lead better. And so for this podcast, for It Matters, I'm excited for some of the guests, because this is it. We're going to see some guests that have accomplished some great things. We're going to meet some guests that are in the battle. We're gonna meet some guests that have gone through some hard times.
mm,
But I want you to learn how they think. I want you to learn how they broke through. Because when you realize that, hey, that person is actually very similar to me. Actually, I've gone through that, or that's what I want to do. It will help you and equip you to understand that, hey, you actually have the potential in you to go accomplish that. And maybe we'll identify some barriers that are keeping you back from accomplishing your big dream, accomplishing that next thing that you really want to, that really brings you alive, and that you want to bring into the world. And it might just be that you just need some hope. Maybe you need some positivity in your life, in whatever you're doing. Maybe you have a job that you're not really satisfied with, but in this season of life, the wisest thing to do is to stay in it for a period of time. Well, we don't want you to be um, living your life in a way that it seems like it doesn't matter. Regardless of where you're at in life, it matters. And maybe we can just encourage you along the way here with some, we're going to do some solo episodes as well, where I'm going to bring you some topics where we're going to chat, and I hope that will be a tool and a resource that will equip you. And then along with that, we will also have guests throughout the year. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
that sounds so amazing, and I love your word excellence going into 2024. I think it's going to be the best year yet for you.
Mm.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. And I'm super pumped for the rest of the episodes of It Matters. Excited for your solo episodes. Excited for a lot of guests that you have.
Mm.
And just wondering, do you have any last kind of words that you want to say, or anything to add?
Yeah, you know what? As we kind of conclude here, one of the things that I want to say, you're going to hear me say, um, dream big a lot. You're going to hear me say grow always. You're going to hear me say
Mm.
lead well. I want you to understand when I encourage you to dream big is because I believe all of you have dreams inside of you. It doesn't matter how big, how small, but you have dreams. And one of the worst things that I think you can do is stop dreaming, because if you have uh, time on this earth, if you're still breathing, you have not maximized your potential yet. And you have an opportunity, the ability to dream, and I want to encourage you to pursue that. As children, we were always encouraged to dream, and we were always encouraged to continue to go on, to try harder, to keep going. And I want us to not lose that. I want you to continue to dream, and whatever that desire, that passion that's been set inside your heart, pursue it, because the world needs more of that.
Yeah.
Grow always. You need to continue to grow. Be a lifelong learner. Don't stop learning, because if you don't grow, you're going to move backwards. There is actually, I don't believe there's such thing as standing still. You're either growing or you're decaying. And so you need to always have this mentality to grow. Yes, there's going to be things that you're going to have to work on, but always be somebody um, that doesn't feel like they've arrived. It doesn't matter how old you are. Don't become that person that knows it all,
Mm.
because what matters is that there's always something more to learn. There's a lot of humility in that, and I want to encourage to really grasp that. And leading well, of course, I've already touched on that, but I want you to lead well. Whatever you do, don't don't just do enough. Lead well, do it great, do it with excellence, and stand out that way. And I think that if you have competition out there, you will stand above them all, because you're going to do things with excellence. You're going to do things by leading well. And so, and in that, you're going to maximize your potential. You're going to do great things, and I think you're going to get surprised on what you can actually do. And if you're and if in and because in life you're not always going to have great things. There's going to be hard times, and it's important to have those perspectives proper, so then when those hard time comes, you can break through that. You can still win, and you can learn, and you can add value to others. And so that's really what I want to say in that. And I'm excited for the rest of the episodes. I'm excited to, like I said, bring some great guests along the journey, and I'm excited for you, all of you, to join me on this journey as we continue to talk about things that matter to you, and things that are going to matter for your future. And I'm excited that I can be part of that as we go on this journey. And so, Alex, thank you so much for joining me today as my co-host, and just allowing me to share a bit about what this podcast is going to look like. And you have a lot to add to the world, and so we're going to have you come back later on this year, because we need to hear your heart, your advocacy heart, your business heart, your leadership heart, from your perspective. And so I'm excited for you to add some value to the world. So I hope we can make that happen. You can come back on, and I'll interview you that time. And so, what do you think about that?
I would love to do that. And thank you for those kind words. And I'm excited just for you. And I know that you have such a passion for people and for helping others and for just adding value in any way that you can to people.
Hmm.
So I'm excited for you to do that just through everything you do, but also excited for specifically the It Matters podcast and just how much value you can add to the world through that. So thank you for letting me co host.
It's been a privilege. Let's go and impact the world. And for all of you out there, this is the conclusion of our first episode, our first but not our last of the It Matters podcast. And so until next time, I want to encourage all of you to dream big, grow always, and lead well. Go maximize your potential. See you soon.